Hi, it's Ellie. You found the Hidden Grove, and today I'm going to be responding to a recent live stream of from Tara is Cozy and Hugataro. They did a capsule collection for January where they decided that for this year they are going to be splitting their decks up into smaller capsules to use for each month. And this is a way to dive deeper into a specific energy or specific decks that you wanted to focus on and kind of release a little bit of that deck overwhelm that happens when you start to get a bigger collection. And I think that they're inspired from people doing this with like wardrobes. People have capsule wardrobes they were talking about, where it's like a few staple pieces that can be used for, that are versatile and can be used for a lot of reasons. And then I saw Crochet Witch Tarot. She tagged their live stream and I thought it would be a great idea because I think this would be really great for me to do. I don't ever feel like I need to be using more than a couple tarot decks in a month. I tend to choose a couple decks and then stick to them for a while, usually for more than a month, like 2 or 3 months before I'm ready to rotate. But I like this idea of paring it down even more from, a group of decks to just 2 tarot decks and 2 oracle decks for the whole month that you stick to and you really work with. And those were the guidelines that they came up with. And so I'm going to share those decks that I chose for my January capsule collection. The theme of January is soft start. So I took this to mean kind of a gentle entry into the year, not trying to dive too deep into any system or any unfamiliar waters, something that feels like it is comfortable. I guess thinking back, I did stray from this a bit, but I'll talk more about it. So I did choose 2 tarot decks, 2 oracle decks. My extra stipulations to this is that I have a separate daily draw deck that I use. Oh, let me actually go grab that. I forgot to bring it. So I pull a card each day. And I decided that the daily draw deck that I use will be separate from this capsule collection. And I'll just show you right now, my daily draw deck has been the Aquamarine for the month of January so far. I've been using this since the beginning of the year to do my daily pulls. I noticed that this is one of my favorite collage decks, and I had it for most of 2023. And something that I noticed is at the end of the year, as my brain was getting more and more tired before winter break, it was getting hard for me to read with this deck in larger spreads. And that was really sad for me because I love this deck so much and I was using it a lot last year. So I decided that to just I continue my use with it. I wasn't ready to put it back on the shelf, so I was just going to use it for daily draws. So I pull 1 card a day and just kind of absorbing that imagery slowly, the soft start idea without overwhelming myself with a big spread with this deck. So yeah, my card, I did my year ahead spread, and my card of January is the Death card. So that will be my daily draw deck for January. But let's get into the capsule. So the 2 tarot decks I chose, well, the first one is Tarot of a Moon Garden. And I kind of had a list of decks that I was considering for January after I saw that live stream, that I kind of laid them all out on a bed and went through them. And I was thinking, what energy really works for me. And as soon as I took this one out of the box, I just knew I had to be using this one this month. It is just really comforting and cozy and soft, and it feels like fairy tales. I love the art. I also love the borders. I think the borders makes it feel like you're looking into a portal into this enchanted world of the forest where there's fairies and big bouncy pentacles that look like bubblegum. And I am really excited to be using this. The other tarot deck, let me pull it out here, that I am going to be using this month is the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. This is a new deck for me, but I feel like the readings I've had with it have been very comfortable. I've had less of that like learning curve. Sometimes when I get a new deck, there's a bit of a learning curve to get used to it and get used to the imagery. This deck has just been really great to... I love the vibes of it. I got this deck, it came in right after I finished reading Jane Eyre, which is very, you know, a classic Gothic literature novel, and so this energy was just kind of perfect. It's that haunted house, mysterious, you know, deeply emotional type of deck. And I think January, it just fits that energy, and I think it complements Tarot of a Moon Garden nicely. They are definitely different. They're definitely very different, which is, I think, one of the reasons why I chose these two, is because Tarot of a Moon Garden has more of that like soft, like fantasy, almost childish element. And this one also has that bit of fantasy, but it's more emotional and intense, and I am really enjoying it, and it shuffles really nicely. This is my first Baba Studios deck, and I really love it. Okay, now on to the oracle decks I chose. I made sure that my oracle decks would complement the tarot decks I chose pretty well. The first one is the Abaton Keys Oracle, a dream healing oracle deck. And this deck references the cult of Asclepius, and in mythology he was the god of healing, and you would worship him by going to sleep in a temple, and he would, you know, heal your ailments or answer your prayers in your sleep through dreams and through subconscious messaging. And I just think that is a really cool concept to create an oracle deck around. And I chose this deck also because I mean, it's been definitely a soft start to the year. This year kind of feels dreamy and slow to start out, at least for me. And this deck goes really well with the Tarot of a Moon Garden. I think that because the Tarot of a Moon Garden almost feels like you're in a dream, the energy of the Abaton Keys complements it very well. Hierophant, Contemplation, and the Devil. Three of Staffs, Existence, Page of Pentacles. I am really loving this pairing, and I'm happy to be focusing in on a single couple decks and their pairings that just work really well, you know, until I get tired of it. And then the next oracle deck I chose is the Tree Whisper Oracle by Mags Black. This one, the messages feel more channeled from some greater energy, and I think that that is something that can be really daunting but also really comforting, kind of a message that comes from something that's greater than you. When I think of a tree and I think of its roots spreading, and I think of the influence that one tree has on the ecosystem surrounding it and how far its roots reach, it makes me feel like there's this greater power of a message behind each one. And these are very like large scope messages, like protection and unity, sensual intuition, things like that. And this one I really like to use with the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. It makes me feel like the characters in the Bohemian Gothic Tarot, it makes me feel like they have just ventured out into a garden and they are receiving a like supernatural message from the tree. And the Lovers, Beyond, and the Empress. Four of Cups, Integration, King of Wands. This feels like a really wintry pairing, and you know, it is January and it's been getting pretty cold up where I live, so I think that this fits that energy really well. Eight of Pentacles, Courage, and Eight of Wands. Interesting, the Courage that I would associate with like the Strength card with two eights, and 8 is the number of the Strength card, and we are in a Strength year this year, right? Yes we are. Yeah. Queen of Wands, Listen, Six of Swords. I am just so stoked about these choices. I think that it is the perfect little like honed in collection that will be really easy to choose from. You know, there's two choices pretty much for what I'm going to be using, and it's just going to kind of ease that stress of looking at a large collection and trying to decide what to pick. And it's just kind of like an easy intro into the year, something that's comforting, something that feels wintry, a bit cozy. So yeah, these are my four decks that I'm choosing for my capsule collection. One last thing that was mentioned in the live stream was that study decks wouldn't be included in the collection. So like if you're studying a specific deck, it doesn't really count as your main reading group. So like these would be the decks that I'm going to be using as my working decks, my reading decks for the month. But my study deck for this month, and has been for the last couple months, is the Hermetic Tarot. I just recently got this vintage copy at the end of 2023 because I love the font on this copy, and it is that kind of shorter, it's a little shorter than standard tarot size, which I love. And I have just been really loving diving into this deck. I've been doing my own study of the Hebrew names in the deck. Most of them are angels, archangels. They're all associated through like the Hermetic system. So yeah, this deck just has so much symbolism. It's very, very intense, but I am enjoying it. So this is probably going to be my study deck of choice for a while. So it's kind of always on the periphery a bit. And then my own stipulation for this little capsule is that I always need, no matter what my capsule looks like, I always need to have access to my trimmed thoth. So this is kind of always going to be there as a part of whatever capsule collection I choose. I don't think I could ever limit myself from using this deck. Yeah, it needs no more explanation. I could never limit myself from using this deck. It's very important to me. I don't know what more to say. It's just important to me, and it gets me through a lot of like day-to-day questions that I face. So this will always be there. And is there anything else I have to say? I might have, you know, another deck that if I ever read for others, I would probably choose a different one than this capsule collection. This feels very like personal, I guess, right now, of what I'm focusing on using for this month. So if I decide to give, I don't read professionally or for money, but if I decide to give, you know, a reading to friends or family, I would probably choose something else than these couple of decks. So yeah, that is my little update. I am filming more videos very soon. I know I've been really sporadic and inconsistent with my filming, and I hope that changes this year. I just, you know, I get overwhelmed very easily, so hoping that changes. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Leave your comments on if you have little capsule collections or what decks you're using in January. I am very interested to hear. All right, bye-bye.